Hello, welcome. As promised, I said I would communicate with you all on Thursday, and today is Thursday. This is the day this video should have landed in your inbox. Just to let you know as well, the text of what I'm sharing with you today is in the post, and you will get it at some point in the next couple of days. This is an update on where we are in season 2, and it's great that we're able to communicate with you where we are at Riverside. As a friend of mine keeps reminding me, we can't provide people with certainty at the moment, but what we can provide people with is clarity. And so actually it's a great opportunity here for me to share a bit with you of where we are at Riverside in season 2 to help give you some clarity of what we're going. If you're anything like me at the moment, you'll have found a new rhythm of life. You'll have found a way that life looks maybe similar to what it was pre-pandemic, but there's been some adjustments, and some of these adjustments to your life might seem really frustrating. They're adjustments that's for our safety, and yes, they're still frustrating, but they're for our safety. And please hear me, I feel that frustration too. I would love it if we could just go back to the way things were, but that's not where we are. And it's right that we actually communicate where are we right now. So I think the first thing that would be really helpful to do is just to reiterate, what are the guidelines in the country right now? As we speak, on this Thursday, what has the government says that we can do, and what are the restrictions that are in place? In England right now, only 2 different households can legally gather in one house. That is law at the moment in England. And also, up to 6 people from multiple households can gather together in any outside space. Let me say that again. Up to 6 people from multiple households can gather together in any outside space. And that is the law, not a guideline. What about the guidelines for church? Where are the restrictions that are on us for church right now? So here we go. Churches can do a service with people in them on a Sunday. The restriction, though, is not 30. That 30 number is purely for weddings and funerals. For a church service, the restricted number is to how many people you can get into your building following these guidelines. So number 1, a 2-metre social distancing in church services must be enforced. In a church service gathering, face masks or shields must be worn inside. During a church service, there is to be no congregational singing in any church gathering, whether that's inside or out. The worship team can sing, but that's with special equipment for them, but we can't all join in and sing together. Loud liturgy is discouraged, because what's the difference between shouting something and singing something? And any indoor meetings or services are encouraged to operate at a minimal time. The less time we spend trapped in a room together, the less chance we would get any of the germs flying around to get a grip on us. Churches as well can have small groups that are allowed in the building, as long as those guidelines are followed of 2-metre social distancing, face masks and shields, and no singing. So small groups can meet in the church building. At Riverside, what does that mean? That means at Dog Lane, we can have about a meeting of about 15 or so people in the main hall, and in the back room, 10 people can gather socially distanced. We've got X's on the floor and all the chairs marked out, but face masks must still be worn. Okay, still no singing. And the small group that's in the building, using the room, is responsible for cleaning that space once they're finished with all of the COVID compliant cleaning materials which we've had to buy here at Riverside. This is where we are as a country. These are the guidelines that have been put upon us as churches. Some of you are asking and thinking, well, Steve, that's great for Dog Lane. What about St George's Hall? We could go back to St George's Hall together, but masks still apply. Social distancing of 2 metres still applies. No singing still applies. We would need to clean all of St George's Hall fully before we gathered as a service, and at the end of the service, and if we ran multiple services, in between every service as well. the capacity of St George's Hall would be 40 people with these guidelines, and that would include all of the setup teams, worship teams and service teams to get that service running. So it's really to get the whole church through St George's Hall, we would need to run between 3 to 6 church services on a Sunday with cleaning between every service. Not only that, but at this point, with certain restrictions, there wouldn't be any children's work either. This is where the goalposts are for us at Riverside Elim right now. We know it's frustrating. How do I know? Because I'm frustrated. How do the elders know? Because they're frustrated too. But with all these restrictions still in place, we can say with certainty that we will not be regathering on a Sunday for a Sunday service before October half term. Until then, things will continue as they are. And we know it's not easy, believe me. We know some of you wanted different news. But I feel, and we feel as a leadership, that people's safety is paramount. And every decision we make is based on our belief of keeping you all safe and following the government guidelines and Elim's guidelines that have been put down for us. When I last communicated with you, I talked about 4 tests that I would want us to pass before we regathered for a Sunday service. Let's just have a recheck of those, because last time we didn't pass any of them. Number 1, we can gather when Elim and the government say we can. We have now passed this test. Woohoo! Our risk assessment has been signed off. Everyone is happy. Number 2, we believe that we can guarantee people's safety. We believe at the moment at Dog Lane, as we're in charge of the cleaning systems and we have robust systems in place, that we can guarantee people's safety in this building. And that is why we will be opening the Dog Lane building to small groups to come in and use the building within the guidelines that are put down. However, we're not entirely sure we can do that at St George's Hall. And so I'd say we've half passed that one. Number 3, will it be a better experience in the building than at home? Well, let's have a look at that. First of all, there's still no singing. Face masks must be worn. There'll be no community and fellowship time. It could feel like coming into a church lecture in rows and then going home again. And in our opinion, that is not a better experience than the one that we can provide for you at home. Not only that, but as I say, we can't put children's work on either. So actually this would put a lot of strain potentially on families who would have to make their children sit in these socially distanced and restricted areas just for a church service and to go home. We see that as a failed test. Number 4, is it sustainable to do this every week? Well, to get the whole church in through the Dog Lane Centre would be 10 to 12 services with cleaning in between every one. For St George's Hall, between 3 and 6, with thoroughly cleaning before, between and after. We believe that actually it's not sustainable to do that every week because it could lead to teams and individuals to burn out. It's not a sustainable model. So we failed test 4 as well. We are closer than we were last time I communicated with you. Last time I communicated with you, we failed all 4 tests. We've now passed nearly 2 of the 4 tests, but we still aren't there. And we are working hard behind the scenes to try and find ways to work around this so we can regather on a Sunday service. We're not just sitting on our hands, twiddling our thumbs. We are working hard as a leadership to try and get us to that point, but we don't feel we're there yet. But this is in constant review, and any changes that the government and Elim make, we get sent to them, and we constantly review those changes to see if we can regather. And these goalposts do regularly change, and we're ready, as always, to change whenever those goalposts do too. We believe as a leadership that with the children going back to school, that actually the weather and the temperature and the season changing over September, we believe there's going to be significant changes in the landscape across the country during this first half term when the kids go back to school. So we're keeping an eye on that, hoping and praying that things change so we're able to pass more of these tests. We believe that the government will continue to make more changes, but we cannot second guess these. We have to wait till they happen, but we can simply keep watching the situation. We can keep praying for the country and for our government at this time, so we can see things change. Debbie Beadle, one of our elders, had a real useful image from God that I believe that we all need to get a hold of during season 2. She had an image of a kaleidoscope, and she felt God was saying that before the pandemic, we were looking through the kaleidoscope one way, but then the pandemic happened, and it was like the kaleidoscope twisted. What happens when you do that? All the same colours and pieces are still there, but they've all shifted, and the picture looks different. All the things that were pre-pandemic we had as a church are still there. Worship, prayer, fellowship, community, the word. But how we experience and see them now is different. But it doesn't mean they're not there. It's just different. So we are still in season 2 as a church. I was genuinely hoping that I'd be able to communicate to you about entering a new season, about entering season 3, but I'm not. But actually, I think it's really important that we need to look at what we can be doing, because there's so much that we can be doing at Riverside, and there's so much that we are doing at Riverside. So let's just have a reminder in season 2, what are the things we can and we are doing? First of all, you can still join us online every Sunday on both YouTube and Facebook. You can still listen to the talk in the week from our website, or you can even just catch up with the video of the talk, or even the whole service at any point during the week. All those services stay online. What else? You can join in with the regular discipleship videos we're putting out to help grow us and develop us as Christians and as a church. There's the Monday mystery meeting, funnily enough, on a Monday. There's the Bible notes that get sent every Tuesday. We have a live prayer gathering on a Wednesday. We do the Saturday Partnership podcast. We do update videos, which if you watch them till the end, have something encouraging from the Bible. You can not only be watching these and engaging in these, but you can be talking about these things as well. We have a live, as I say, prayer experience and gathering every Wednesday night on Facebook and YouTube at 7 p.m. And you can, even if you've missed it, watch back and engage with it then. On Sundays, there are Zooms for families with children aged 11 and under before our screen service. We've tried to let as many of you know about this, but if you have children under 11 and you want to know about them because you don't, contact us. We can give you all the details. Barry has been active with youth, doing regular youth gatherings online, in Zoom. And because we can gather within certain restrictions, Barry's even gathering the young people, following the guidelines we've laid down. Wednesday church, Mike and Jan are gathering in people's gardens 6 at a time, following the guidelines. And life groups are meeting in WhatsApp groups, in Zoom rooms. They're meeting in 6s in people's gardens. They're going on walks together where the life group leaders can organise all of these things. How much can we do? So many times we get focused on what we can't do, but look at what we can. There are so many opportunities to engage in season 2. And even though we can't regather everyone on a Sunday, we can still gather. But how we do that is down to you. We're allowed now 2 households in one house. So maybe instead of just watching church, the Sunday service online on your own at home, why don't you actually arrange to watch it in someone else's house with them, or invite someone to watch it with you? You can be gathering for a service just in a smaller gathering in your house. That's amazing. You could be worshipping with someone else from church and praying with them in your home as the service is going out online. Normally on a Sunday, you would get up and you'd drive out to St George's Hall. But instead of just driving to St George's Hall, you drive to a friend's house, or have a friend drive to you, and you can gather and worship together like that. You can invite each other to one another's homes and gather and engage in a Sunday service. A gathering can take place. It's just different than it was before. The kaleidoscope has moved. And there's also other small groups that can gather. How can small groups gather? Number one, virtually. In a Zoom, text and WhatsApp groups. Now, I know many of you don't like this. And got to be honest, I'd rather be connecting with people in person. But I'd rather we do it virtually than we don't do it at all. And if you don't know how to do any of this, contact us. Contact somebody from church. We will help you to do that. Remember, someone can even come over to your house and help show you, because we can have 2 households in one house. How else can small groups meet? 6 people in a garden. Now, please hear this. The law says up to 6 people from multiple households in a garden. That's not 7. That's not 8. That number is 6. And I know some of you go, well, my life group is bigger than that, so we can't all gather together. But you can gather in small groups of your life group in 6s. 1 Timothy tells us that as a church, we must be above reproach from the world. Please listen to this. You might not see a problem with 7, but the law does. And so until the law changes, we must stick by it. And if it's a church life group, it's actually the life group that won't get fined or pulled up on it. It's me and us at Riverside Elim that the police will crack down upon. And they could ask us just to stop gatherings altogether. We need to not do this. We need to abide by the law. We can gather, but in 6s. And please think, well, what about if it rains? What about when the weather's changed? Can't we go inside? Well, you can't, because it's only 2 households in one house. But you can go inside somewhere, because you can use this building. As I said earlier, in the back room you can have 10 people, and in this room you can have 15. And yes, it's with face masks and shields and social distancing. And yes, it means cleaning after, but you can still gather. And in fact, we have bought a load of church face shields, because we know face masks constrict you and some people can't read each other's faces. With a shield, you can see each other, and we have them all here at church, cleaned and ready to go for you. Your life group leader just needs to book that in with us, and we can walk through with them how they keep the building clean afterwards. And we are starting to have those conversations with life group leaders and small group leaders. I mean, Barry and the youth have already started to do that in this building. It's fantastic. We can still gather. It's just not as big as it was before. Please hear this. We can still gather. It just looks different. And I believe we must gather. But it's down to you individually or as a small group as to how you gather. But I do believe that small group gatherings are essential for our spiritual health and our mental health at this time. But the challenge is, as always, will we do it? At this time, roughly 60% of Riverside are connected to a small group. This includes Wednesday church as well. This is great. Nationally, that number's around 40%, so we're better than the national average. But with 60% already engaging in a small group, that means there's 40% of the church that isn't attached to a small group. We want to walk with you if you're in that 40%. We want to help you connect. We want to get you connected to a small group or a group of people who you can see and spend time with. We want to help you to do that. Small group gatherings are going to be essential in this season, because we can't be in a large group, but we can be in a small group. So please, if you're in that 40% and you want to gather with people in a small group, reach out to us. And we will do all we can to help you to do that. But it's at this point, we feel it's right that we need to reach out to you and we need to ask you for help. We need to ask you about what can you do. We've prayed over this and we tried to share with you how many things we are doing in this season, but we need help if we're going to continue. This is such a challenging time for everyone in this country. There is so much uncertainty. But actually there is so much challenges that are going on. Just to let you know that giving has gone down by 10% this year. The coronavirus, not only that, but the coronavirus has led us as a church to spend in ways and areas we hadn't planned for or expected. And to be able to keep doing what we're doing, we need some help. What have we been doing? We're looking to do more than we've ever done before. And actually, we need your help to continue to do these things. We have done resource bags for families and youth, which have been an unexpected cost, but they've been something that, especially as we can't regather on a Sunday, we believe we must keep doing. We must keep resourcing our kids. We must keep resourcing our families. We must keep resourcing our young peoples. But we need your help to keep doing this regularly. As you know, we're doing church online, and we've tried to do it as stripped back and as naturally as we can. But we need your help, because we need to be able to develop our audio and our video resources with technology to improve this experience for everyone. But this is a cost as well, and an area that we need to invest in as a church. We need your help. We need to keep resourcing the building to keep it clean, especially if small groups are going to start gathering here, because that means cleaning will take part regularly. And believe it or not, but the COVID-approved cleaning materials are more expensive than normal ones. We need your help. We also need to keep resourcing the building with unexpected materials. As the government and even change procedures, we need to follow them. For example, in recent weeks, we've had to spend money on perspex screens for the worship team to stand behind so they can still worship and lead us in worship on a Sunday. We've had to buy face shields for the users of the building, all at an extra cost. And we have to keep doing all this, spending this extra unexpected cost. But as I say, because times are challenging right now, giving has gone down. We feel as a leadership that it's right to ask you to pray and consider about what you can do. Now, please, I want you to hear this. If you are really struggling right now, we do not want you to feel pressured by this. But at the same time, we feel it's right. Why? We need to tell you where we are. We need your help financially to keep resourcing each other and the church through this crisis. So we're going to do a special offering called a What Can I Do offering. And this What Can I Do offering is to fund all the things that I've just talked about that we need to keep spending in on the journey. The kids resources, the family resources, the youth resources, the audio and visual equipment, the unexpected costs of continuing to develop this building to make it safe to gather. And we need your help to do that. So we're going to ask, can you pray to God and say, God, what can I do? Can I support the church anymore? And we're going to do, as I say, a one-off special What Can I Do offering. How can you give to this offering? You can do it by bank transfer. And if you do it by bank transfer, if you could just put in the reference special, and if you gift aid, just put GA for gift aid, so we know that that bank transfer is for the special offering. You could do it by cash or by cheque and put them in envelopes and pop them through the door. And just so we know it's for the What Can I Do offering, just put a note in there to say that's what it's for. And if you normally gift aid, just pop that on the note as well. And if you want to gift aid and you don't know what that is, contact us and we can help you. And we're asking you to pray and consider, could you do this during September? We're going to give you a couple of weeks to think and pray and seek God on it. And we're looking to announce how much the special offering has raised on Sunday, the 4th of October. So you've got any time between now and then to get that to us. If you might like to give, but might not have any funds available till after the end of September, that's fine. You can pledge an offering. You could write to us or email and say, we pledge X amount and we will give it in October. And we can add that amount to the total that we announce on Sunday, the 4th of October. Please know, we know times for some of you are so uncertain. Do not feel pressured by this. But we still feel it's right to ask. We don't ask lightly, but we believe it's right for God to keep everyone in the picture and for us to reach out and ask for this at this time. So please, can you pray and consider this? And finally, in season 2, can I ask that you pray for us as a leadership? These are strange times. There's so many different things and different opinions to what should be done and could be done. But we want to do what God has for us at Riverside. We need the wisdom of God And we would ask that you continue to pray for us in this season and as we look to move into season 3. We aim to be able to give you another update mid-autumn after we've seen maybe some changes after the children have gone back to school, and I'm hoping and I'm praying they are changes which will help us to move into season 3. Remember, we can gather. It's just not the same as before. And if you're not connected to a group, you can. But please reach out to us so we can help connect you. And finally, please consider and pray if you can help give in a What Can I Do special offering to help us to continue to reach and serve and keep our building and service to this community going in this second season. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to this, and hopefully you'll read it when it comes in the post as well. But we miss you. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Follow the government guidelines. Please follow the government guidelines. And we cannot wait to see you soon.